Good day, guys and girls. Jesse Daley here. I am here at the VITEMA Emergency Operations Center here on St. Croix with the one and only Director Jaschen. He is the director of the Virgin Islands Territorial Emergency Management Agency. Director Jaschen, thank you so much for being here today with us. Of course. When I first met Director Jaschen, I thought I was meeting an island celebrity because I work in the in the weather field. But Director Jaschen, for those who are watching this video and may not be too familiar with VITEMA, can you tell us a little bit about the agency and the agency's mission?
Sure. VITEMA stands for the Virgin Islands Territorial Emergency Management Agency, so VITEMA for short. So by the VI Code, Chapter 23, Title 10, we are responsible as a single coordinating entity for U.S. Virgin Islands, covering the islands of St. Croix, St. Thomas, St. John, and Water Islands. So all 4 islands are responsibility. So there is no city, county, state. We're all in VITEMA as a coordinating entity. So we're looking anywhere from Department of Defense to FEMA to our National Guard brothers and sisters to be prepared. Also for the community to make sure you do a lot of outreach and communication to them, whether it's the schools or it could be seniors, it could be AARP, it could be working with the Red Cross. We're all working together for the community with the main objective for us for saving lives and preserving property. So a lot of this is done. We hear about VITEMA during hurricane season, but we are basically 24 hours a day with 911 also responsible for us for both districts, as well as preparing throughout the year for any emergencies that may come towards us. Obviously hurricanes are the primary one for us, but we're also very concerned about earthquakes, tsunamis, droughts, fires, pandemics, the standard things that could come with us. We're the single coordinating element.
Okay, so that's a lot of information there that I kind of want to touch quickly upon, and thank you for sharing that. So VITEMA doesn't specifically work with weather alerts. It's emergencies in general to help keep the public protected. Is that correct?
Yes, just like the National Weather Service in Puerto Rico, who's our primary entity, is not just about weather. They talk about the weather effects. It could be drought, it could be floods, it could be the impact of the territory. So we are involved with everything, and it's called, it could be natural disasters, it could be man-made disasters. Unfortunately or fortunately, something could happen to the environment here. We're very much involved with that and outreach, and we do have, industrial sectors with the territory, so we're obviously in contact with the private sector also through BI Fire, EMS, police, through 911 to make sure anything that comes up, we can respond to very, very quickly.
Okay, and in terms of responding to an emergency, for example, some of you may be familiar with, I think it's every third Thursday, we have a tsunami siren test, correct?
Yes, we have 44 tsunami sirens throughout the territory on St. Croix, St. Thomas, St. John, and Water Island. The third Thursday of every month at 11 o'clock on St. Croix District, we sound the test messaging. It goes out in English and Spanish and French, so it's a test only, 11 o'clock, and then on St. Thomas, St. John, and Water Island about 11:15. So every month we do that, and the intent is for us to test our systems, 2, for the community to listen to that noise, that sound, and know it's a tsunami alert message. And what you should do, potentially, we have an exercise in March called Carib Wave, in which we do a combination of earthquake and tsunami in order to prepare. Are you in a danger zone? In order, hopefully, about 10 minutes to get you up above that standard elevation of 82 feet, which below that is considered an evacuation zone. But be prepared for that. So we do that in March with a great shakeout in October. Also, we have that set up for earthquake. Those are 2 opportunities for us to get the community involved.
Absolutely. And so if there was, for example, a tsunami, a real tsunami, threat, here at the Emergency Operations Center, can you quickly walk us through how would this unfold? Would people kind of congregate here, and then how would this work out?
Yeah, very, very good question, Jesse. So we have 3 emergency operations centers, one on St. Croix, where I'm at right down in Christiansted, one on St. Thomas over by the airport, and then one on St. John up across from Myra Keating. So if there's an activation, then all the emergency support functions, there's 15 of them, would assemble here in the EOC. We talk about prioritization objectives, safety, accountability, in order to find out for the governor to advise him on the actions that we should be taking to help the community be prepared and respond to an event. Sirens may or may not be sound, it depends upon the type of earthquake and tsunami you have. We work with the Pacific Tsunami Warning Center in Hawaii to get our information. Obviously, following an earthquake, we're very much concerned. That's the tendency is after an earthquake for that tsunami to come. We have history going back to 1867 that we did have an earthquake between St. Thomas and St. Croix that generated a tsunami. So we do have history for that. So the education is so important. But ultimately, the key leaders will come to here in the EOCs, and we'll put our situational availability together, and we'll advise Governor Bryan what we should do next. Again, it goes back to the communication to the community, but ultimately Governor Bryan is our commander-in-chief.
Amazing. Well, we are getting toward the end of hurricane season, which is great news here. Many of you have seen Director Jaschen on the weekly government briefings, update throughout hurricane season, updating everyone of what's going on. Now, because we are now getting to the end of the season, a question about this. What was learned, or was there any new information learned this season, possibly during Tropical Storm Ernesto? Anything that learned this year that may help those watching, especially residents for next, and visitors next hurricane season?
Yeah, thanks, Jesse. We talk about being prepared, staying informed, and being vigilant. So every week during hurricane season, a chance to go on with Governor Bryan or Director Moda, talk about what is happening in the Caribbean. Is very, very important. So find that awareness out in National Weather Service. We found out this year specifically with Hurricane Beryl that basically started down in the Southern Caribbean, ended up being a Category 4 at the end of June, and going in July, going to a Category 5. Unheard of. So we always talk about hurricane season starting 1 June, ending 30 November, but for us in the U.S. Virgin Islands, the height of hurricane season is really from 15 August to 15 October. But Hurricane Beryl really sat us down and said, oh my goodness, you cannot predict. So we always, I think the biggest lesson is you cannot be prepared too early, and you have to always be prepared through that entire season, as well as stay informed. And that's why we want to talk about the rapid intensification. It could be a tropical storm when you go to bed, and wake up the next morning, it could be a Category 3. So that's what's happening now. We're seeing in the Atlantic specifically a lot of rapid intensification. So I think the awareness is so important, the outreach to the community, how you can yourself be available to be prepared and get the alert notices that we'll send out to you through the National Weather Service to be prepared at all times.
And speaking of those notifications that both residents and visitors could obtain, can you tell us how to, to sign up for these alerts? Because when there's people that come down here for, for vacation, I don't think a lot of people often think about alerts or events like earthquakes. We think hurricanes and that's it. A lot of other things. There's sandbags, around for floods throughout the year. So how do people sign up for any notifications of emergencies?
Yes. Typically, there's notice events and there's no notice events. No notice events like earthquakes, you don't know what's going to happen, but yet we could give you a notification about an earthquake that happened nearby, and that's all through our Alert VI system. You can sign up for that by visiting VITEMA at VITEMA.VI.GOV. You can choose English or Spanish, and you can choose to receive the messages by text, by email, or phone call. And if you acknowledge one of those, the other two won't come, which is good, but it's important for you to be aware of that. And if you happen to be in the Territorial, we'll inform you. If you happen to be in Florida, out of the Territorial, we'll inform you also, because it's called a subscription. No cost to you, but basically you sign up for those messages to come to you. We'll give you the earthquake notices. If it's above a 4.1, we have lots of earthquakes in here in the Territory, but above that, a little bit of a concern locally, and then in the Atlantic above a 6.1. And of course, any flood advisories that may come out, warnings, alerts, hurricanes, we want you to be aware of that for sure. So I think the best way for you to be in touch, besides our Facebook page, which is a great way to go to get information, is sign up for Alert VI.
Sounds great. And do you guys ever close, or you're always working?
We're 24/7, especially with our 911, which is our key to success, is reaching out for fire, EMS, and police. My team is always 24/7, but of course with a limited staff, I won't work them too hard. But if we do have an event like we had Tropical Storm Ernesto this year come through, we activated for 10 days.
Yeah.
So we found a lot of the wet season this year for us caused a lot of the growth, and so the restoration activities took a lot longer than we thought. But we stayed active, and again, Governor Bryan advised him. He starts us up, and then we basically make recommendations to take ourselves to deactivate. And of course, FEMA is down here always with us. So either part of recovery or part of the preparedness response. FEMA is really not so much in with us, but they're really close to us nearby in a couple of locations. So it's very important we keep that relationship, both our National Guard, FEMA, Department of Defense, being able to surge if we need to based upon what happens.
Fantastic. Well, as many of you viewing out there know, almost every week I mention or I encourage viewers to sign up for emergency alerts from VITEMA. And I just wanted to express my gratitude to Director Jaschen, and we have some staff here, Mr. Kelly and Julissa here as well. So to the staff, we all appreciate what you all do. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
And I'm sure we'll keep our fingers crossed for no crazy weather events, but if there are, you'll get a notification.
Yes, thank you so much for the opportunity to share what VITEMA does.
All right, thank you.